Hello and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you different types of registrations. So when I say registration, when you're printing, you want your lino to appear on the paper in the same place every time. So you want to choose a registration method that suits your project. So I'm going to show you 3 different types. A really simple technique, which is good for just doing single colour. And then I'm going to show you a corner registration and pins and tabs, which are really useful when you're going down the multiple colour route. So carry on watching and enjoy. So the first method is a simple registration. So to do this, I've just got a piece of newsprint, or you can use any plain paper. The main thing to remember is you need to make sure it's bigger than the paper that you're going to be printing on. So here is the paper that we'll be printing on. So I need to draw around it. So I'm going to start just by marking the corners with a pencil. Try not to move it. Take that away, and then with a ruler, just line up the corners. Like so your paper will sit within that square. And then take the lino and decide whereabouts you want it to print on your paper. You could measure it, or you could just do it by eye. And then I'm just going to draw around the lino. Now you notice I've got a little dot on the lino, so I'm going to repeat that dot on the registration sheet and write lino. So, you see that? And then with the printing paper, you might want to put a little X on the bottom corner, like so. And do the same with the registration sheet. So when you come to printing, ink up your plate, and then you can place it on there, so you're lining up the dots. And then you'll be lining up the 2 X's. So you do that. And then you just print. So this method is really useful if you're just printing one colour. Now if you want to print more than one colour, so if you're doing multiple blocks or the reduction methods, you may want to have a more secure method. So I'm going to show you how to make a corner registration next. So a corner registration, they tend to look like this. And I can see they're like an L shape and they're in shape of a corner. So the lino will sit in there, and then there's a slight recess there, then you can see that, and then that's where your paper sits. You can buy them, but you are a bit limited to the margin sizes, or you could just make your own. So this is just made up of 2 bits of card stuck together. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So first up, I'm going to make this first L shape there. So you want 2 bits of card, both the same size. So just taking the first one. And I'm not going to measure it, I'm just going to use the width of the ruler And I'm just going to draw an L shape on the edge. Like so. I'm going to cut this bit out. So taking a ruler, make sure you're on a cutting mat. Get a nice sturdy knife, and it's better to start from the corner and go out and just cut this part away. A bit more. Made the table move. There you go, so I cut the first L, and this will eventually be glued on top of the second sheet. So now I'm going to create the bottom part. So again I'm going to draw that first L shape on the card. Just check that they line up. Yep. And now at this point you want to decide what you want your margin to be. So this one is 2 centimetres. So I'm going to make this one 3. Now you don't have to do the same margin on both sides and the bottom. You could actually have different sizes. So a lot of people have a slightly deeper margin at the bottom to the side. So it's totally up to you. So I'm just going to do 3 centimetres. So just mark that in that middle square. And join the line up. So your bit of card should look like that. So you want to cut this bit out. Again, take your ruler and a sharp, sturdy knife. So you should have 2 L shapes. So now you need to stick this one on top of the second one, like so. So to do that, just get some PVA. And I'm going to put a bit of glue on both of the L's. So on the top one. Oh, there's a bit of cat fluff there, don't want that. And then do the same on the second one, so just on that part. Don't worry about going over the line. You just want to make sure you've got enough glue on there so it sticks down properly. and then you want to line them up. And press firmly down. If any glue squirts out on the edge, just wipe it away with your finger. So like so. So ideally you want to let that dry under some heavy books for at least a few hours or overnight to make sure it's properly stuck down and this remains flat. So, true Blue Peter style, this is one I made earlier, so it should look like that. And at this point you can do the same as with the simple illustration. So you've got your lino that will sit in the first recess, so you could mark a dot there, and then mark an X in that corner, and that's where your paper will go. Now to make this more sturdy, or more durable in fact, give it a couple of coats of waterproof varnish on both sides, and don't forget the edges, so if you do get any ink on it you can clean it. So once you've done that, ink up your plate, pop it into the first recess, so lining up your dots, then take your paper, you want to line up your X, and in that goes, and then carry on printing. So next up is using pins and tabs. So the final method I'm going to show you is called the pin and tab technique. So you get these are the pins and these are the tabs. So first of all you need to get yourself a bit of board. So this is a sheet of MDF. Don't worry, you don't need to paint yours bright green, just what I had lying around. And I'm going to do what I did with a simple illustration by starting off by drawing around my printing paper. So I'm going to put that down and I'm going to mark the corners. And then we'll join the corners up. Like so. So your paper will go there. Now, to use the pins and tabs. So the tabs, they're going to be attached to the paper, and the pins are going to be attached to the board. And then you join the paper to the pins by snapping the tabs in place. So to make sure these are in the right position, I've attached one of the tabs to the pin, and I'm just going to line it up. So you want it about there. And I'm going to get some parcel tape. And tape down the tab onto the board. Now you need to make sure it's properly stuck down because you don't want this moving while you're printing. And then get some masking tape. Attach the tab to the paper. Again, really stick this down onto the paper. and then do the same with the second pin and the second tab. So with the tabs, you got a circular hole and then you got more of a oblong shape. So you're going to snap the circle into the circle, and it should make quite a nice snap. Put it there. So again, partial tape for the pin. Really stick that down, and then masking tape for the tabs. So your paper is now attached to the tabs, like so. So now I need to decide where I want my lino to go. Now because you've stuck the tabs down with masking tape, this is likely to tear the paper. So it's worthwhile using longer paper than you intend your print to be, so you can then just cut your paper down to size when you finish your print run. So I'm going to position my lino further at one end. So if I give myself a 5 centimetre margin at this end, and I'm just going to mark that. And I'm just going to do the top and bottom by eye, and then I'm going to draw around my lino. Like so. Now what you could do, if you've got any spare strips of card, so you can cut this into strips, you can make yourself a little corner so you've got something for your lino to sit into. So just going to move this board out of the way. And I'm just going to cut some strips. Now you could glue these down, or you could just tape them, and then you can just reuse this board for lots of different size prints. So I'm just going to get some masking tape. And tape it into place. And there you go, you've made yourself a registration using pins and tabs. So what you could do, you can draw a dot there, so you join up your dots again. So ink up your plate, place it into that corner, and then get your paper, snap them into the pins, lay it down and print. Now this technique is really good if you're doing multiple plates or reductions, because you know that this paper is going to be in the same place for every single layer. All you need to worry about is getting your plate in the right position every time. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial on registration, which covered doing the simple registration, a corner registration, and the pin and tabs. These are not by far the only registration method you can get. There's loads of different variations, so have a little search online. You can do variations of these. Just find one that's suitable for your project. So give any of these a go, let me know how you get on, and I'll see you next time. Bye!